Welcome to an enchanting journey through the world of Augustan poetry, a literary epoch that stands as a beacon of intellectual enlightenment and artistic refinement. As we embark on this audiobook, we invite you to immerse yourself in the poetic riches of an era that transformed the landscape of English literature. From the playful satires of Alexander Pope to the reflective verses of Jonathan Swift, Augustan poetry offers a captivating exploration of human nature, society, and the very essence of existence. In the early 18th century, the Augustan age emerged as a response to the preceding Restoration period, characterized by its wit, satire, and pursuit of reason. This era witnessed a shift towards a more structured and disciplined form of expression, influenced by classical models from ancient Roman Greece. Poets of the Augustan era, like Alexander Pope, John Dryden, and Jonathan Swift, embraced a balanced and ordered approach to poetry, setting the stage for a literary movement that celebrated rationality, moral virtue, and social critique. The poetry of this era navigates a rich tapestry of themes, from the complexities of human relationships to the satirical exploration of society's follies and foibles. The Augustan poets sought to capture the essence of the human condition, using verse as a tool for introspection, societal commentary, and philosophical contemplation. They painted portraits of both the individual and the collective, shedding light on the intricacies of human behavior, ambition, and the pursuit of knowledge. In this audiobook, we will delve deep into the masterpieces that defined the Augustan era, exploring the nuances of its poetry that continue to resonate with modern sensibilities. From Pope's biting wit to Swift's allegorical narratives, you'll witness the power of words that challenged the status quo, stirred intellectual debates, and paved the way for literary classics that remain timeless. Join us on this journey as we traverse the landscapes of moral integrity, political satire, and artistic innovation that define Augustan poetry. We invite you to subscribe to our channel, English Poetry, to embark on a literary voyage through the ages and discover the enchanting verses that have shaped our understanding of language, society, and the essence of what it means to be human. English Augustan poetry, often referred to as the Age of Pope, encapsulates a pivotal period in literary history that spanned the early 18th century. This era derived its name from the admiration for the works of Roman poets like Virgil and Horace, and it represented a deliberate departure from the flamboyant excesses of the preceding Restoration period. Augustan poets sought to establish a more structured, restrained, and intellectually rigorous form of poetic expression, emphasizing rationality, order, and moral integrity. At the heart of Augustan poetry is the work of Alexander Pope, who stands as one of the era's central figures. His skillful use of heroic couplets, a rhyming scheme and meter that aligns well with the principles of rationality and clarity, became emblematic of the Augustan style. Pope's The Rape of the Lock is a brilliant example of his satirical and witty exploration of the trivialities of aristocratic society, merging social commentary with literary finesse. Satire, indeed, was a defining feature of Augustan poetry. Poets like Jonathan Swift, with his biting prose and allegorical tales, critiqued the political, social, and intellectual climate of their time. Swift's Gulliver's Travels satirically dissected various aspects of humanity, revealing the absurdities and contradictions of the society he lived in. The Augustan era was not just a period of wit and satire, it also delved into profound philosophical themes. Pope's An Essay on Man reflected on the nature of humanity, its place in the universe, and the limits of human knowledge. The poem's exploration of theodicy, ethics, and the relationship between humans and the divine epitomized the era's commitment to rational inquiry. Augustan poets, influenced by neoclassical ideals, emphasized imitation of classical models and a disciplined approach to writing. This adherence to form did not limit creativity, but rather encouraged poets to craft intricate verses that showcased their linguistic dexterity. The Augustans also demonstrated a keen interest in moral instruction and education, with poetry serving as a vehicle to convey ethical principles and universal truths. The era's focus on reason and order did not mean a lack of emotional depth. James Thomson's The Seasons, for instance, celebrated nature's beauty in the changing seasons while reflecting on human emotions and the passage of time. This emotional resonance intertwined with the era's commitment to a structured, didactic form of poetry. English Augustan poetry marked a transitional period, with the influences of Enlightenment thought and a desire for intellectual rigor shaping its contours. It upheld the legacy of the classical past while forging new paths for the future. From Pope's satirical wit to Swift's allegorical brilliance, and from the celebration of nature's grandeur to the contemplation of humanity's place in the cosmos, Augustan poetry remains a testament to the power of language, reason, and artistic expression. English Augustan poetry, also known as the Age of Reason, is a fascinating literary epoch that radiates a unique blend of artistic refinement, social commentary, and intellectual exploration. This period, spanning roughly from the late 17th to the early 18th century, emerged as a response to the excesses and disorder of the Restoration era. Augustan poets sought to establish a literary order that aligned with classical ideals, drawing inspiration from the works of ancient Roman poets like Virgil and Horace. Central to Augustan poetry was the elevation of reason, clarity, and moral virtue. This shift was epitomized by the mastery of the heroic couplet, a rhyming scheme that embodied elegance and precision. Alexander Pope, the quintessential Augustan poet, wielded this form with brilliance, crafting satirical gems that exposed the follies of society. His The Dunciad satirically targeted literary incompetence, while his Essay on Criticism offered guidelines for discerning and crafting good poetry. Satire, a hallmark of Augustan poetry, was wielded as a powerful tool for social critique. Jonathan Swift's A Modest Proposal shockingly suggested the consumption of Irish infants to alleviate poverty, starkly underscoring the harsh realities of colonialism and social inequality. Swift's Verses on the Death of Dr. Swift engaged in a self-eulogy, probing the duality of self-perception and public image. Beyond satire, the Augustan poets also explored profound philosophical questions. Pope's Essay on Man grappled with theodicy and humanity's place in the cosmos, blending theological inquiry with poetic artistry. This era's poets, influenced by the Enlightenment, believed that through reason and education, humanity could transcend its limitations. The Augustan landscape extended to pastoral poetry, a form that celebrated idyllic rural life while offering veiled commentary on urban society. John Gay's The Shepherd's Week playfully satirized rural characters and settings while engaging in a deeper critique of contemporary urban mores. Augustan poetry also showcased a fascination with nature and scientific inquiry. James Thomson's The Seasons celebrated the beauty of the natural world, intertwining observations of nature with reflections on human emotions and the passage of time. This engagement with nature echoed the Enlightenment's emphasis on empirical observation and understanding. The era's commitment to classical models extended to translations, where Augustan poets brought the works of ancient authors to English audiences. This facilitated cross-cultural exchange and enriched English literature with the treasures of antiquity. In essence, English Augustan poetry is a tapestry woven from a myriad of threads: satire, reason, morality, philosophical inquiry, and a reverence for the classical past. It captures a society in transition, balancing the echoes of history with the demands of a rapidly changing world. As you delve into the verses of Augustan poets, you'll uncover layers of wit, wisdom, and a profound engagement with the human experience, a testament to the enduring power of poetic expression. The theme of social hierarchy and class dynamics permeated Augustan poetry. Poets like Pope and Swift explored the intricacies of social strata, critiquing the excesses of the aristocracy while also reflecting on the aspirations of the rising middle class. Augustan poetry's engagement with urbanization and modernity captured the transformation of cities during the 18th century. The growth of cities and the emergence of urban culture were often portrayed in contrast to the pastoral ideal, raising questions about the impact of progress on society. The exploration of personal identity and self-discovery delved into the internal struggles of individuals. Augustan poets pondered questions of authenticity, self-awareness, and the search for meaning in a changing world, adding a psychological dimension to their verses. Augustan poetry's reflection on literary patronage and the role of poets highlighted the complex relationship between poets and their patrons. Many poets depended on the support of wealthy individuals, which sometimes influenced the themes and content of their work. The concept of reimagining the classics led to creative adaptations of ancient myths and stories. Poets like Pope and Dryden drew inspiration from classical literature, reshaping these narratives to address contemporary concerns and sensibilities. Augustan poetry's engagement with gender roles and women's voices showcased evolving perspectives on gender. Poets like Lady Mary Wortley Montagu and Annie Finch used their poetry to challenge traditional notions of femininity and advocate for women's intellectual contributions. The theme of political allegory in coded language added layers of complexity to Augustan verses. Poets often used allegorical language to discuss political matters indirectly, allowing for a measure of safety in an era of potential censorship. Augustan poetry's exploration of friendship and camaraderie celebrated the bonds between individuals. The formation of literary circles and social networks fostered a sense of community among poets, leading to collaborative efforts in the exchange of ideas. The theme of science and enlightenment ideals resonated deeply within Augustan poetry. Poets, influenced by the Enlightenment's emphasis on reason and empirical observation, engaged with scientific themes and advancements, reflecting the intellectual curiosity of the age. Augustan poetry's engagement with the power of wit and rhetoric showcased the art of persuasion and argumentation. Poets like Pope wielded wit as a weapon, using it to punctuate their ideas and provoke thought, often engaging in debates through their verses. The exploration of human fallibility and moral ambiguity delved into the complexities of human nature. Augustan poets, rather than presenting clear-cut heroes and villains, painted characters with shades of grey, reflecting the moral ambiguities of a changing society. Augustan poetry's reflection on the role of education and literature in society emphasized the transformative potential of literature. Poets believed that literature could elevate society, educate the masses, and shape moral values, leading to a proliferation of didactic and instructive verses. The concept of ephemerality in the fleeting nature of life added a poignant layer to Augustan poetry. Poets contemplated the impermanence of human existence, capturing moments of beauty, love, and loss, and reflecting on the transient nature of human endeavors. Augustan poetry's engagement with global exploration and colonialism mirrored the era's expanding horizons. Poets, through references to far-off lands and exotic imagery, demonstrated a growing awareness of England's global influence and its impact on culture. The theme of theatre and performance celebrated the world of drama and the stage. Many Augustan poets were involved in the theatre, and their poetry often reflected the dramatic sensibilities of the time, blurring the lines between literary and performative art. Augustan poetry's exploration of the art of translation and adaptation showcased the poet's linguistic skill and cultural versatility. They translated works from various languages, introducing English audiences to new ideas and literary traditions. The theme of urbanization and the emergence of coffeehouse culture adds a layer of societal transformation. The rise of coffeehouses as intellectual hubs fostered discussions, debates, and the exchange of ideas among poets and thinkers, shaping the intellectual landscape of the era. Augustan poetry's engagement with ephemera and everyday life captures the fascination with ordinary experiences. Poets drew inspiration from the mundane, immortalizing everyday scenes, objects, and occurrences in their verses. The exploration of the aesthetics of the picturesque and the sublime delves into the evolving notions of beauty. Poets like James Thomson depicted the awe-inspiring grandeur of nature, foreshadowing the Romantic movement's focus on the sublime and the natural world. Augustan poetry's reflection on cosmopolitanism and cultural exchange reflects an expanding worldview. Poets engaged with diverse cultures and perspectives, reflecting England's growing connections with the global community through trade and colonialism. The concept of irony and self-reflexivity takes poetic expression to a meta level. Poets often employed irony and self-awareness in their verses, acknowledging the artificiality of poetic conventions and the complexities of human nature. Augustan poetry's engagement with fashion and changing tastes reflects the shifting aesthetics of the era. Poets commented on the ever-changing fashions, trends, and social norms, capturing the ephemeral nature of cultural preferences. The theme of nostalgia and the past adds a touch of sentimentalism. Some poets, like Thomas Gray, look back fondly on the past, reflecting on the passage of time and the evocative power of memory. Augustan poetry's exploration of the role of the imagination delves into the poetic process. Poets grappled with the balance between reason and imagination, exploring how the creative faculty shapes their verses. The theme of celebrity and fame emerges as poets grapple with notions of renown and recognition. Some poets, like Pope, navigated the delicate balance between the desire for fame and the pitfalls of public scrutiny. Augustan poetry's engagement with literary rivalries and feuds showcases the intense competition among poets. These rivalries often found expression in satirical verses, adding a dimension of personal drama to the literary landscape. The exploration of the psychology of human behavior delves into the motivations and desires that drive individuals. Augustan poets dissected human psychology, shedding light on jealousy, ambition, and the complexities of human interactions. Augustan poetry's reflection on spirituality and religious inquiry intertwines faith and reason. Poets grappled with questions of divine providence, theodicy, and the intersection of faith and philosophy. The concept of political allegiances and party politics offers insight into the political climate of the time. Poets aligned with different political factions expressed their views through their verses, engaging in a public discourse through poetry. Augustan poetry's engagement with the art of conversation and dialogues presents poetic works structured as dialogues. These dialogues allowed poets to explore opposing viewpoints, engage in debates, and showcase their rhetorical skill. The theme of sensibility and sentiment captures the growing interest in emotional expression. Poets like Thomas Gray and James Thomson incorporated a heightened sense of sentiment into their verses, reflecting a changing cultural emphasis on emotion. Augustan poetry's exploration of family and domestic life delves into the dynamics of home and family. Poets portrayed familial relationships, reflecting on themes of love, loss, and the ties that bind individuals. In essence, English Augustan poetry encompasses a vast spectrum of themes, ranging from personal introspection to societal commentary, from intellectual rigor to emotional resonance. It is a reflection of an era that navigated the intersections of tradition and change, reason and emotion, individuality and societal norms. As you journey through the verses of Augustan poets, you'll uncover a universe of thought, emotion, and artistic innovation that continues to captivate and resonate across time. The theme of gender dynamics and women's voices adds a layer of complexity to Augustan poetry. Women poets of the era, like Annie Finch and Mary Wortley Montagu, navigated societal expectations and contributed their unique perspectives to the literary landscape. Augustan poetry's engagement with literary circles and social networks underscores the collaborative nature of the era. Poets formed friendships and alliances, leading to the exchange of ideas, shared creative endeavors, and the cultivation of a literary community. The exploration of philosophical skepticism and doubt delves into the uncertainties of human knowledge. Augustan poets questioned established truths, engaged with philosophical debates, and expressed skepticism about dogmatic beliefs. Augustan poetry's reflection on the theater of life and performance extends beyond dramatic works. Poets often use theatrical metaphors to explore the roles individuals play in society, blurring the lines between reality and performance. The concept of gentle satire and moral lessons offers a nuanced approach to critique. Some poets, like Joseph Addison and Richard Steele in their periodicals, employed gentle satire to impart moral lessons and commentary on society. Augustan poetry's engagement with exploration and travel narratives reflects the era's fascination with distant lands. Poets drew inspiration from travel accounts, using exotic settings and cultural encounters to enrich their verses. The theme of education and the role of literature encompasses a broader vision of learning. Augustan poets believed that literature could shape moral values, cultivate critical thinking, and contribute to the education of a well-rounded individual. Augustan poetry's exploration of the sublime in nature and art captures the awe-inspiring and transcendent. Poets contemplated the vastness of the universe, using the concept of the sublime to evoke powerful emotions and reflections. In essence, English Augustan poetry is a treasure trove of themes, ideas, and perspectives that weave together a tapestry of thought and creativity. It encapsulates an era that embraced reason and imagination, societal critique and personal introspection, tradition and innovation. As you navigate through the verses of Augustan poets, you'll uncover a realm that resonates with the intricacies of human existence, inviting you to explore its rich tapestry of expression and insight. The theme of social mobility and aspiration resonates within Augustan poetry. As society underwent shifts, poets explored themes of ambition, upward mobility, and the desire for social advancement, reflecting the changing dynamics of their time. Augustan poetry's engagement with the concept of reason and enlightenment delves into the era's intellectual currents. Poets grappled with the impact of reason on human thought, exploring the boundaries between rationality and emotion. The exploration of nature as a mirror of human experience offers a reflective dimension to Augustan poetry. Poets often drew parallels between natural phenomena and human emotions, using nature as a metaphor to explore the complexities of the human heart. Augustan poetry's reflection on personal identity and anonymity reveals the tension between individuality and anonymity in a burgeoning urban society. Poets pondered questions of selfhood, identity, and the challenges of remaining distinct in a crowd. The concept of humor in the comic tradition adds a layer of lightheartedness. While Augustan poetry is known for its satire, poets also engaged in playful humor and wit, showcasing their versatility in tackling a range of emotions. Augustan poetry's engagement with the art of rhetoric and persuasion reveals a fascination with the power of language. Poets honed their rhetorical skills, using persuasive techniques to captivate readers and convey their ideas effectively. The theme of nostalgia for the rural and pastoral takes on a different dimension. Poets like James Thomson celebrated rural life, portraying it as an idyllic escape from the complexities of urban existence. Augustan poetry's exploration of memory in the passage of time delves into the concept of temporality. Poets contemplated the significance of memory, reflecting on the ways in which the past shapes the present. The theme of self-expression and literary identity reveals the evolving notion of authorship. Poets grappled with questions of originality, influence, and the distinctiveness of their literary voices. As we reach the culmination of this illuminating journey through the diverse realms of English Augustan poetry, we find ourselves enriched by the multifaceted tapestry of thought, emotion, and artistic expression that defines this era. From the razor-sharp wit of Alexander Pope to the introspective musings of Thomas Gray, we've explored a literary landscape that reflects the intricate interplay of reason, emotion, and societal transformation. English Augustan poetry stands as a testament to the human capacity for creative innovation, intellectual exploration, and critical reflection. Its themes, spanning from satire to sentiment, from nature to the city, from philosophy to politics, offer us a mirror through which we can understand the complexities of the past and draw inspiration for the present. As you reflect on the verses of these Augustan poets, we invite you to subscribe to our channel, English Poetry. By doing so, you become part of a community that continues to celebrate the timeless beauty of poetry, the power of words, and the boundless realms of human imagination. Join us in embracing the magic of language, history, and the poetic spirit. Click that subscribe button to embark on future journeys through the rich tapestries of literary heritage. Thank you for being part of this enlightening voyage, and we look forward to sharing more captivating explorations with you.